Hi, I'm Brandon Falk, and welcome to the movies. The place where heartbreak feels good. For over 50 years, filmmaker Steven Spielberg has lit up the silver screen in spectacular fashion with his thrilling and emotionally resounding films. The worlds he has created through film and the escapism they allow have captivated and inspired me since my childhood. This is why I have decided to profile his leadership for my presentation. Now, sit back and enjoy this feature presentation. Steven Spielberg was born on December 18th, 1946 in Cincinnati, Ohio. When he was a kid, he made his own movies on 8mm film as a hobby. 5 decades later, his hobby has turned into an illustrious career spanning 34 films that he has directed, with his 35th directorial effort, Disclosure Day, releasing this summer. Aside from directing, another leadership role that he has held is that of a producer. For the purposes of this presentation, we will be focusing on his leadership as a director. A good place to start with the title of director is to define what a director does. They make changes to a film script, lead the crew by collaborating with people such as the cinematographer, the writer, the film editor, the production designer, the sound designer, and the assistant director, among others. Not only does this director lead the crew, they also audition, cast, and direct the cast to achieve the desired performance from the actors that will fit the tone of their artistic vision. The big picture version of what a director does is working to bring their artistic vision to life on screen. Before I discuss his influence as a director, I want to first discuss his leadership traits, skills, and behaviors, because if he didn't possess those, then he wouldn't be an effective leader, meaning he wouldn't have influence over his cast and crew. If he didn't have high energy levels and high stress tolerance, Spielberg wouldn't be an effective leader or director because films can have unconventional shooting schedules that may include very early mornings and very late nights. He needs to maintain a high level of energy to accomplish this. Filmmaking is also a stressful endeavor because not only is the director in charge of leading many people between cast and crew, they must be able to cope with the stress of shooting deadlines, problems that may arise on set, and trying to stay on schedule and on budget. And to finish a film shoot, Spielberg must possess a high achievement orientation. The traits I've mentioned here help him to achieve the goal of completing a film. A few skills that Spielberg uses in leading by directing are technical skills, conceptual skills, and interpersonal skills. A high level of competency and technical skills is required in filmmaking. Knowing how to frame a shot, how to block scenes, etc., are skills that he must use when leading the crew. Conceptual skills are of paramount importance because using his creativity and judgment on set are vital to bringing his artistic vision to life on screen. An example of this is storyboarding. Spielberg is famous for storyboarding, drawing scenes in sketches to help him visualize how and what he wants to shoot in a scene. Interpersonal skills also play a large role, pun intended, in leading a film production. Communication with both cast and crew throughout the shoot and post-production are vital for successful filmmaking. Discussing how he wants actors to act in a scene and directing them to get the performance he wants is part of how he sets the tone to ensure that his vision is realized. making sure the scene is filmed from the desired angle, and how and where the camera moves are things he communicates to the cinematographer to ensure successful translation from script and storyboard to screen. While leading his productions, Spielberg uses both task-oriented and relations-oriented behaviors. On set, he may have to clarify acting choices to cast and technique choices to crew. As the director, he monitors and oversees the entire production. These are all examples of his task-oriented behaviors. His relations-oriented behaviors include developing his actor's skills by rehearsing and giving directing notes to actors and then providing praise and recognition when they've delivered a stellar performance in a scene. Working with actors on set highlights Spielberg's situational leadership as it relates to the four quadrants. Funny enough, he uses directing to direct. If an actor doesn't have a good idea of how to act in or approach a particular scene, Spielberg will provide direction via notes and communication with the actor on how to approach the scene. This is the proactive tactic collaboration. Having this additional direction and these notes also affords the actors empowerment to perform well. Cheering them on and making them feel confident in their ability to succeed is another proactive tactic he uses, which is integration. Coaching comes into play once the actor starts to better understand what Spielberg wants out of their performance, and he will continue to direct and support them as they improve. Once the actor has a pretty good grasp on the performance, Spielberg will have to do less hands-on directing and will be able to support the actor. Finally, when the actor has perfected the scene, Spielberg can disappear behind the lens to watch as a filmmaker's way of delegating. I've spent a lot of time talking about Spielberg directing, so let's observe him actually doing it.
Nashville, Eastside Banh Mi is on Uber Eats. Get 35% off select items, only on Uber Eats.
Processed snow, it's like small, it's the same.
What man?
I didn't like this brand stuff. It's a mosquito trapped in amber. That's how they got the dinosaur. It's a real mosquito. Trapped in amber.
Mosquito?
Uh-huh. A big one. A big.
And how'd they get it to stay there? Just stick there.
Well, because when sap came off a tree and trapped the mosquito, about 50 million years later, the sap got hard. Actually, it gets hard before 50 million years, and it entombs the mosquito. The mosquito,
How did you make this one?
well, we waited for 50 million years. We've been in pre-production for 50 million years on this movie. Back here, I want to look for the two cars come up, right? As they're coming up, we're just coming around.
These will be your transports for the afternoon. No drivers. No drivers. But they're electric. They run on this track in the middle of the roadway here. Talking on pollution, top of the line. Spares no expense.
I'll tell you what, it's almost like you're right here and Grant's right here, and it's like we're on I'll ride with Dr. Statler.
I'm right with Dr. Say.
And if you go off that way, Grant, takes 2 steps to get into the same car, and Kitty steps right in his way and stops him. Without putting, yeah, exactly. You hold the book up to him. I take pictures. I read your book.
I read your book.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
That's where they all went.
All right. You just follow along those lines. So I put
It sure don't look like birds to me. I heard that there's this figure.
At that point, you say, which car do you want to go into? Which car are you going to be? Yeah. Finish your line right here.
Hit the Earth, someplace down in Mexico, and made this big crater. Yeah.
Which car were you planning?
Or when you are. About this thing in Omni, about this meteor making all this heat, and it made a bunch of diamond dust. And that changed the weather. And they died because of it. And then my teacher tells me about this other book by Antimatter and heat.
He said, slam on his face. He's good. Good. Good, good, good.
He said I should ride with you because it'd be good for you.
Now floating. Everyone must be on the dock for the next.
When Spielberg is making these artistic choices on set, he's using a few types of participative leadership decisions. For choices concerning his vision of the film that he simply won't budge on, he makes autocratic decisions. These decisions can be things such as story elements or the way he wants the shot to look. In some cases, he may use consultation to ask for input from cast and crew before making the decision on his own. In other cases, an actor may have their own idea for a line of dialogue or how they want to act in a scene, or a script supervisor may have a narrative idea. In these instances, Spielberg makes joint decisions. To make these decisions and assert influence, Spielberg exercises referent power. Based on his on-set leadership as a director and how beloved and celebrated his films are, cast and crew are willing to give their best efforts out of admiration for him and his vision. They know the result will be something special. Spielberg's respect for and commitment to his cast and crew give him referent power. His support and sincerity for them can help fuel their intrinsic motivation. While Spielberg possesses behaviors and traits of a charismatic leader, such as demonstrating exceptional abilities as a filmmaker and being highly intelligent and extroverted, he is mainly a transformational leader. He uses intellectual stimulation in conversation when collaborating with cast and crew for their input. He gives actors individualized consideration by talking them through scenes one-on-one. He also encourages their abilities by showing his faith in their skills, thereby empowering them to perform well. Inspirational motivation is a transformational leadership behavior that Spielberg must exhibit from conception to completion of a film, because without a clear vision, a film will suffer from story, tone, and atmosphere issues, among others. Two ways to determine whether Steven Spielberg is an effective leader are the measure of his success and his influence as a leader. There are several ways to measure his success. The first two are critical acclaim and audience reception. Many of his films have been hailed by critics and audiences alike. In fact, 31 out of his 34 feature-length films are certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Another way to measure his success is box office returns. To date, his films have grossed over $10 billion worldwide. Award recognition also measures his success as a director. He has won 3 Oscars for directing and has been nominated for Best Director 9 times. 11 of his films have been nominated for Best Picture. His influence as a leader and filmmaker has been felt worldwide. Many directors have cited him as an influence, and Jaws is credited as the film that created the summer blockbuster model for film releasing. His influence on pop culture is undeniable, and the fact that his 35th film will release this summer further proves the point that Steven Spielberg is an effective leader and director who will be celebrated and remembered for many, many years to come.